right,
refreshing it.
we should be live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the GlitchFeed podcast. We're doing this again. It's super late. We're sorry, but
And we're live.
And we're live. Dang, we had some stuff we need to take care of tonight. So, without further ado, I'm Troy. Of course, your horsed. I'm your horse.
I'm pretty hoarse right now from our weekends.
I'm pretty horsed.
I'm a little
as well.
tired.
I'm joined, of
that
course,
is a
by
true
Sarah, the lovely
statement.
Sarah, right over there. Sorry.
The tired Sarah. I apologize. My energy. I have pretty low energy often, but my energy's pretty low today. Getting back from a long vacation of being busy. Typical post-event energy.
For sure.
I'm very tired. I also I announced it on my personal stream, but I'm going to be moving in a few weeks, so I'm in like freak out mode officially as well. So that's crazy. I'm actually pretty sad about that, Troy, because Watch Dogs came out and I can't get it for like 3 weeks. And I'm very bummed because it's been getting really great reviews. So I'm like, shoot, I'm probably not gonna get Pokemon tomorrow either. Great.
That one I can see you getting though, because that's a lot. That's handheld.
No,
a lot more free, like handheld time though.
I can't do that because I have to pack up my entire life and like.
No, but I mean, like, not once you get down there and.
Oh, I'm bringing my PlayStation. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
I'm bringing that's all I'm bringing. I'm bringing a pile of clothes, my computer, which I may or may not use. Which, by the way, you might not be hearing me a lot for GlitchFeed stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to find a solution for that.
We'll figure that
out. But and then my PlayStation, not my PlayStation VR, and then the rest is going to be sitting in my garage for my parents to drive down once I find an apartment. So it's going to be crazy. It's exciting. It's a pretty good opportunity. It looks like the screen is black.
I fixed it. I didn't hit transition. Oops. Hi.
Whoops.
Hello. Here's the
video. You didn't see me being all crazy.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I'm about to go through some major life changes, which I haven't really dealt with before. I think the last major life change that impacted my gaming schedule was getting a job and like leaving college because I had a lot of free time in college. But now it's like moving and not having my own place and having to worry about like all this other stuff. Like I'll get used to it, but it's going to be a transition. It's very exciting. But like I said, it's going to be a little crazy the next few weeks, and I apologize for silence from me. But, you know, such is life.
That is.
Once everything's settled, I will have an apartment with internet, so I will be back, and I will annoy you once again with my hoarse voice. So,
of course, that means you're pretty much out of commission until, what did we say, January? We said it was kind of like the...
Yeah, from...
Roughly.
Like, I think I have less than 2 weeks before I move, and I'm going to be staying with people who probably wouldn't appreciate me streaming on their internet or doing stuff like that. I'm going to try solutions, obviously recording on my computer and stuff, but yeah, it's going to be a little tough for a while.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. I'm wearing my unicorn onesie.
It's nice.
Because I'm excited for that. But, you know, I'm very excited, but I'm disappointed because a lot of games are coming out and I don't know if I'm going to have time to really play them.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's a shame.
A big week, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's like Final Fantasies coming out at the end of the month. We have Steep is also a game I'm looking for that's coming out next month. It's Steep though.
The open beta for that is going on, I think, this weekend.
It went on last weekend.
That was the closed beta. There's an open beta this coming weekend.
That sucks because I can't play video games.
I know. It's a bummer.
I know. That's why I'm upset because it's like if I get these games, I'm not gonna do my packing and stuff. So
you're not gonna have time.
I'm like, shoot, yeah. So, but you know what? We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about this year. Not what's coming, but looking back at this past year and seeing some big game awards. I believe the video game awards, they announced their nominees.
They did. So we're gonna go through those. Obviously, the video game awards, kind of the offshoot of the Spike Game Awards and things, hosted by Jeff Knightley? Jeff Knightley? Is that the right? Jeff Kingley? No, Jeff Knightley. Jeff Knightley, yeah. It
depends. Is he a knight or is he a king?
That's a good question. But they're the live streamed, super awesome video game awards. Kind of, he was just on Funhouse's podcast today that I watched.
Yeah.
I watched like half of it, and it was a really good interview, and definitely check that out if you're interested in what the Game Awards are. But we are going to go through some of the nominations and just kind of give our thoughts, weigh in on our opinions. Now, Sarah, you already did this pretty much.
Yes, I did. I'm actually retweeting right now on my own personal Twitter. Don't leave. but it's on my personal Twitter. I've retweeted with Navigator the Golden Joysticks Awards, which is actually international. It is an open event for everyone. Like 10 million people have actually like put votes into this. And so the announcement, the actual winners are going to be announced in 2 days on the 18th. But I actually did a whole podcast with our friend Josh from Constantly Calibrating, and we talked about the nominees and our feelings for it. And it was really fun. It was fun kind of critically analyzing things and like having good discussion about why we feel certain ways and discovering why we feel certain ways. So I'm kind of excited. I mean, this list thankfully isn't as insane as theirs was, but there's some good games on here. There's some good games on here.
There are. So we're gonna, for your reference, we're gonna go from the bottom up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to start with Game of the Year? Let's do it.
No, we're gonna start from the bottom up on our list. I've trimmed out a couple that we really don't have any opinions on. Esports, we're not big esports people. I trimmed out things like fighting games and some other stuff. But so starting from the bottom, we have actually most anticipated game. So this is an upcoming game that has shown significant ambition and
so my segue was terrible,
in
essentially.
moving the game medium forward. Well, okay, we can hold that. Let's hold that one for the end then. Let's say most. Yeah, let's look back then, and we'll hold that one for after the game of the year.
I like this next one. I don't know if you really care about it, but it's cool. They have the best fan creation.
Yeah.
Fan created content such as mods, fan films, and other player content. It's interesting because they have Project A2MR, Pokemon Uranium, Brutal Doom 64, and Real Shards of Order. Some of these games actually got removed and are no longer being distributed.
Removed?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it was. Definitely Pokemon Uranium was removed, but I got it, so sorry.
I have it as well somewhere.
And actually it's really interesting. A lot of Pokemon games, and there are a lot of fan-created Pokemon games, have lengthy development because it's like 2 people working on this game. I don't really have a best fan creation because I only played Pokemon Uranium, but I think Pokemon Uranium did pretty well.
Enderal, on the other hand, Enderal the Shards of Order is a Skyrim kind of overhaul. This came before like the special edition dropped, but it's honestly that I actually am kind of on favor with that. It's a totally overhaul of like the level up system and the mechanics of the game. It makes it actually feel a little bit. It honestly, it feels like you're playing a totally different game that just happens to swing a sword like Skyrim.
I honestly, I haven't really used mods until I played things like RimWorld. So I'm not a big mod person, unfortunately. I'm kind of getting into it and exploring that option, but being a console gamer, mods have never really been a solution for me because I don't have the opportunity to do it. I mean, now obviously mods have come to consoles, especially like with Skyrim and Fallout. But like I more lean towards this fan created stuff, like this creative like homage to a game and finds new and innovative ways. I mean, like usually Pokemon fan created games are used to kind of fill gaps either between generations or to kind of fill in the gaps of things we wanted to see that just were never there. And so it's just really interesting to me. So
all right. So moving on from that one, we're split. It sounds like we're split on that one. Let's move up to best multiplayer. I skipped Trending Gamer because nobody that I really cared about was on there outside of Danny O'Dwyer, and that's the only person who should win that. I put it back for you. But
there you go.
Best multiplayer game, for outstanding multiplayer game and design. We have Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, Overcooked, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Rainbow Six Siege.
I think Troy liked Overcooked the most.
See, that was I actually saw a tweet from Ghost Town Games and Team 7. I think maybe it was Team 17 that tweeted it out. One of them tweeted out, "Holy shit, we got nominated for a game award for best multiplayer." Like they're next to Overwatch and Battlefield and Gears, like massive franchises. And here's this couch multiplayer game that like
couch multiplayer.
That is the big key there. That is the only one on this list that is a couch multiplayer only game. That has no online support. But
I think Overwatch is going to take it.
Yeah, this is one of these years. As you're scrolling through some of these Overwatches on here, I think almost every other category it seems like, and I don't think any of these have had the cultural permeation that Overwatch has. I think when we're talking about the best multiplayer game, the most culturally relevant game, Overwatch takes it by storm. I think Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, Titanfall 2 haven't been out long enough and all kind of came out at the same time, that they didn't break out like Overwatch did. Rainbow Six Siege, I love the game. I think it's fun. I just don't think it's best multiplayer.
No, I think Overwatch definitely is one of those games that it kind of was one of the most defining games of this year, just because of the hype build up to it, the successful events that have occurred since then, the two big successful events that have brought players back in. And I think it's just really well. So I think while some of these games, like I think Overcooked should potentially win just because it's so unique and such an interesting multiplayer dynamic that makes you both love and hate the people you are playing with. I think Overwatch is definitely going to take it.
Absolutely. I think Overwatch for the win. I think good upset Overcooked. I think would be an interesting win to see. But all right, moving on. I toyed with deleting this one or not, but best family game. But only because there's 1 and 2 in here that we've definitely played. Dragon Quest Builders, which you have played. Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens, awesome Lego game. Pokemon Go, Ratchet and Clanks, and Skylanders Imaginators. Now, I'll throw out Skylanders because Toys to Life, whatever. But Dragon Quest Builders, Lego Star Wars, Pokemon Go.
Honestly, I think that Skylanders still is something to be a contender because it says best family game. And I think out of all those games, Skylanders seems like the one that is the most family play. Dragon Quest Builders, I don't see that as much. Pokemon Go, yes, there's a lot of gameplay, but it wasn't really necessarily something that it's like, hey, we're going to walk around as family friends playing these games. I think Lego Star Wars is also a big contender because the Lego games have always been a very fun family game. I think they both kind of like that. I think is the most adults have fun, kids have fun type experience.
Now,
but Skylanders is huge. It's huge.
Toys to Life is still a big deal, despite Disney saying fuck, screw it and Nintendo having amiibos. But I think there is something to be said for Pokemon Go as a family game. I don't know. Not someone as not having a kids necessarily, but my fiance and I would actually spend time going out and taking walks specifically for Pokemon Go. And as I'm walking around the city, I'm seeing more and more people, more and more kids with the phones out playing Pokemon Go.
Even now?
Yeah, even now. Like I actually was on the subway today and looked down and saw, a kid and then a 20-year-old guy next to him, not connected, both playing Pokemon Go. Like people are not only still playing it, but maybe it's just because I'm in the city. Maybe it's because I'm in an environment that is heavily, densely populated with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It's a different experience for me. I think we talked about that way back when Pokemon Go came out. So I think there's grounds for Pokemon Go as a best family game, for sure.
I'm sorry I'm yawning, by the way. It is very late for me. I apologize. I didn't take a nap today, so I'm going to be yawning a lot. I'm sorry.
All right. Best strategy game. Ready for that one?
Yes.
Okay. Civ 6, Fire Emblem Fates, Banner Saga 2, Total War Warhammer, and XCOM 2.
Now, I was not on the Civ 6 train just because in the other podcast I was participating in because the Golden Joystick Awards, because it wasn't out necessarily when they started the surveys. Now seeing the response, seeing the amount of people that play, seeing the amount of people that have purchased it, I could see Civ 6 being fresh in people's minds taking this. However, XCOM 2, Fire Emblem Fates, Banner Saga 2, I mean, Total War Warhammer is kind of the smallest of those, but I'm sure they have a huge following because it's Warhammer.
War franchise and the Warhammer franchise together, that's a massive.
Are big. Massive. But there are a lot of really big games. This could go to anyone, I think.
Yeah, this could go either way. I'm going to go ahead and count Fire Emblem Fates out of this. I think Fire Emblem Fates was a good game. I just don't think it stood up to Civ 6 and Total War and XCOM. Banner Saga 2, another indie game. Could walk away with it based on its art design and based on its kind of, some of the X Factor stuff. But Civ 6, I think, and XCOM 2 are the two big contenders there, easily.
So the next one on here is the best RPG, which best game design for rich player character customization, both offline and online, including massively multiplayer. So we have Dark Souls 3, which got so much hype. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which recently came out. I don't know so much about that, but it is a classic RPG. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine.
Yeah. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. the expansion.
World of Warcraft, Legion, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, I will stick with my opinion before. I think if there's anything Blizzard, it has a very good chance to win because the three big like tiers of Blizzard, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and Hearthstone have had just a phenomenal year. They deserve all the credit for that.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people who, as it generally happens, got back into World of Warcraft Legion because of Legion launch. I mean, they still play. I know. Troy, are you still playing WoW?
This guy, you can't actually see me gesturing to myself because of Skype, but this guy still playing World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
I know a bunch of people
Yeah.
that I've gotten frustrated with because I'm like, oh, are you playing WoW right now? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, that's great. You're rating. Talk to you in 3 hours.
Right.
So I mean, I think that a lot of hype went around Legion. I haven't really been very aware of Warcraft for the game launches, like been aware of the industry. So maybe this is normal, maybe this isn't abnormal as it seems.
There's definitely
But
always an uptick when these expansions come out, and I think
yeah,
that's just good marketing on Blizzard's end. But I don't think it's going to win.
what do you think's gonna win?
I think Dark Souls 3 is going to walk away with it.
Yeah, I think that's the two top contenders. I think Dark Souls 3, didn't they recently also release the last of the DLC, or they're about to release the last of the
Yes, there's
DLC?
DLC either just released or very soon on its way at the moment.
So I mean, yeah, it's still alive, it's still prevalent in people's minds. Warcraft is too, but it's like I don't think it's necessarily there. It just really it depends on the audience.
Depends.
Do these are these actual industry voting, or is
These
this
are kind of all over the place. It's industry as well as kind of media people. It's very much kind of Oscars-y in that there's
okay? So
not a committee, but like a voting body of peers,
if
so to speak.
if this was community driven only, I think Warcraft would win. Because
Yes.
this is industry based, I think, as you said, Dark Souls 3 is the more memorable, is one of those things that a lot of people really experienced and enjoyed. I think that's probably going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
All right, moving up to best action adventure game. Best game experience combines combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Dishonored 2, Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet and Clanks, Uncharted 4, Thief's End. Now this is the first time we're seeing an Uncharted 4 as we're going this way through the list, but I mean, I don't see
Weird
any of
about
those.
Dishonored.
Dishonored 2?
It,
Nah. I just
but it throws me off with like things that are so recent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird thing. 'Cause it's like, and also with Dishonored, it's getting a lot of bad experiences along with the good experiences. But
50-50
there's
in the media.
a lot of hype. So depending on who it is, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really.
I think
really
Uncharted
say
4
much
is gonna
about that.
walk away with this one. I just it's one of those where it's gonna take that one, and unfortunately it's gonna take best narrative, which we'll talk about later. But I think that one will walk away with it.
Best action game. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got Battlefield 1, Doom, Gears of War 4, Overwatch, and Titanfall 2. It's experience focused around first and third person combat.
This is pretty much the shooter genre for the most part.
I think Doom could have a good shot. Because Doom, I mean, I get Overwatch is on here, and Overwatch is pretty good too. But action, I mean, Overwatch, I guess, is action, but I don't really think of it in terms of this like grit contender type things. I think Doom, a most anticipated great experience of a remake, could take it away. But Overwatch could also do it as well.
Yeah, I this is a good category where I think it's, you know, I as good as Battlefield 1 is, leave that one in.
No,
all right,
talk about that one.
Just yeah, I think Battlefield 1 is a great game. I think you know, it has a lot of potential, but it's another one of those too early to really have the groundswell that Doom and Overwatch have, you know, built up. But I could see that one going either way on Doom and Overwatch for sure. Titanfall 2, same thing. Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, they're very good.
Well, Titanfall 2's been struggling a little bit too, but it has a lot of good.
Again, it's still recent enough that I don't think it has like the emotional resonance that those other two have. Moving on, best independent game. This one I want to leave in here because there's a couple very good items in it, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Firewatch, Hyper Light Drifter, Inside, Stardew Valley, and The Witness. Now, I've played all but one of these on this list.
So what's your thoughts?
I did not like Firewatch. I'm probably the only person in the world that did not like Firewatch, but I didn't like it. I am not a huge fan of the walking simulators. I'm not a huge fan of those kind of loose narrative story kind of not loose narrative stories, but where I like to have some sort of kind of direction, and Firewatch just didn't do that for me. Now, Hyper Light Drifter, Stardew Valley, The Witness, those are all three, and even Inside, those are three. The Inside's the one I hadn't played, but those are all three very massive games that all had very different kind of launches and kind of fan bases built up around them. I could see Stardew Valley running away with it. At the same time, I could see The Witness.
I honestly, if I want to judge this based off of the description for outstanding achievement in a game made outside of the traditional publisher system, and Stardew Valley, yes, it's made a basically Harvest Moon style game, not on Nintendo, but it's mimicking something. I feel like Inside, Hyperlight Drifter, those are new experiences, innovative experiences that I think deserve it more. Stardew Valley, wildly popular, very successful. I think it deserves it? Not as much as the other ones.
I think the avenue you have to go with that, though, is because, as you said, game made outside the traditional publisher system. Stardew Valley was made by one person. One or two people. I think it's only one person.
It was one person, but then it was Chucklefish picked them up.
Sure, to publish, but developed by one guy. I think that's where it'll kind of lean on the outside the traditional publisher system kind of avenue of that. So
we'll see. I think it's a very, very solid lineup of games. Yeah. So
the next one I have in here, I almost deleted, but I will just mention it.
This is you. This is all you.
Games for Impact, honoring exemplary games that take on real-world issues and advocate for social change. All of these, there are games on here like Orwell and Sea Hero Quest. The one that it will win 9 times out of 10, 100%, maybe even close to 100% prediction here, is That Dragon Cancer. Releases a free game, story of a parent going through their child's battle with cancer. Just the most heart-wrenching game on this list, and it'll, I think, totally walk away with this one. But I want to just mention that and skip right over it.
All right, so best music sound design. This is something that we had a lot of controversy in the other podcast for, and I'll go into it in a second. Battlefield 1, Doom, Inside, Res Infinite, and Thumper, which is audio, inclusion of score, original song, licensed soundtrack, and sound design. It was controversy because I didn't understand why Overwatch was on this, and then we had a conversation about it, about how Overwatch uses all of those audio cues, like it's high noon, you hear that cue, you freak out and try to find the source because you understand when that's done, someone's probably going to try to kill you. So it's all about those audio cues to trigger how you respond to something that if you don't have it, which is so valuable. And so I think that was an interesting direction we went in the other podcast. If you want to listen to it, it is on my Twitter, which you can check out later. Not right now. Watch the video, watch the Twitch stream. But
Overwatch yeah, I mean, here, though.
I know. That's why I'm saying it's sad. Because I was like,
I get where you're going from, though. You're
seems like it should be. And that's the weird thing, because when I was in that podcast, I was like, spoiler alert. I was like, I don't think it should be. And then we had a whole argument about it. I'm like, oh, okay. No, that actually makes a lot of sense, that shooters like Battlefield 1 and Doom, it's not just about the soundtrack. It's about the audio cues to tell you something is happening. So
I mean, there's 100 games I could say that should be on this list that aren't. It's one is 2 sections above this that I don't understand how isn't in best music and sound design. But
is it Firewatch?
No, it's Oxenfree.
I was being a troll. Stop it.
Oh, I hate you. I'm like, you played right into that. Yeah, I 100% think Oxenfree should be in best.
All right, so but art direction.
Abzu, Firewatch, Inside, Overwatch, Uncharted 4. A lot of watches and a lot of overs in this Game Awards. I love like artsy fartsy crap. Like I love Abzu. That's just like a visual experience. It's so beautiful. I get Overwatch is very cool, creative, funky, like a Team Fortress 2 type thing. Uncharted 4, very cool, atmospheric event. But like, Abzu, the little game that could, I just loved it. Like 4
for a rail kind of walking simulator, but swimming,
Hmm.
I think that's the one I enjoy because you stop and you're like, oh, there's a stingray. Oh, there's that. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. Like, it's just so pretty. I
I
can't
could
handle it.
I could see Firewatch taking this one as well. I think this is where Firewatch will stand out, because it does look beautiful. In it looks very nice in the same way that The Witness looks very good, and it's very sharp and contrasting colors that really has good art direction. Now I can see why Overwatch is on here for in terms of the creative, artistic design. I mean, they built a whole world, um, purely around character art and purely around character design and world design. Like there's no story in Overwatch. Uh, it's all told through kind of the characters themselves and how they play together and the worlds that they inhabit. So I think that there's a lot to be said for Overwatch in terms of art direction, and creativeness. But yeah, I think Abzu, Firewatch, those could be huge contenders. Um, Uncharted 4, I don't think deserves art direction nomination.
Best narrative. Outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. We have Firewatch,
Mm-hmm.
Inside, Mafia 3, Oxenfree, and Uncharted 4.
You know my answer to this one.
Is it Firewatch?
It's Oxenfree. It's 100%
Okay.
Oxenfree. I think
Oxen.
Oxenfree was by far one of the best storytelling games I've played in a very long time. It plays like a choose your own adventure, but with the sound design of an actually well composed game, and I cannot advocate more for Oxenfree. I'm super biased because I would vote for Oxenfree in almost all of these categories. Um, that being said, Mafia 3 I didn't think had a great story at all. I mean, it was narrative development okay. It was kind of an interesting time frame, but it wasn't that great. Firewatch, again, this is where the industry will kind of win out and say, Firewatch had the best narrative because it was, it was left to you to discover. But
Yeah.
that's how. Yeah, you can take that next one out.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about it.
No. So we started at the bottom. Now we're at Game of the Year.
So at the bottom, now we're here. Sorry.
No, I intentionally meant to do that, but I didn't feel like singing. That was my goal. For a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Doom,
Mm-hmm.
Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. I think this is a split between Uncharted 4, Overwatch, and Doom. I think Overwatch probably would win just because there's a lot of really good things. You have the bright colors of the world design, the level design, the characters are creative and fun, and people love the characters, the sounds, the experiences, the innovative like new modes and everything. I think it's got a strong chance to be Game of the Year, and overall, I think I think a lot of people are gonna pick it.
So let me make a case for Uncharted 4.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the other one is Uncharted 4, but also seeing it as a PlayStation exclusive, I think that hinders it a little bit as well. But go ahead, make your case.
So, I bring it back to this is a peer reviewed and kind of peer voted, industry voted, if you will, experience. And a lot of those people will not be so concerned with the platform exclusives. With that, I think while we kind of poo-pooed over Uncharted 4 kind of in the other categories, I think it delivers one of the best overall experiences. It has great art design. It has great narrative. It has great sound. It has great everything. Is it the best in those categories? No, because you're putting them against games that are just good at that are just good at having an amazing art and having an amazing shooter. But overall, I think it delivers one of the best all-encompassing packages. I think that's where Uncharted 4 kind of wins out over Overwatch. When you take these games out of the game of the year, they'll destroy it every other time. But when you put everything together, that's where Uncharted 4 wins.
Apparently, you're too quiet right now, Troy.
I've been too quiet now for 30 minutes. But I can turn it up and be louder. There you go. I'm just cranked all the way up at this point.
Oh, cool.
So that's the Game Awards. Now there's one more category. There's one
Anticipated
more
game?
category I wanted to talk about. It's the most anticipated game category. So this is kind of a weird thing for Game Awards to do. It's really giving an award to a game that hasn't even been released yet and that they don't really have any opinions on. But it's purely based on speculation.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh my
Yeah, let's go
God.
through the list here. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, of all of these, one of these is definitely not coming out like
Are you
anytime
kidding
soon.
me? Red Dead Redemption 2. Isn't there only like an art, like a picture of it?
I mean, the only thing they had was that 30-second trailer that they put on Twitch. Like, there's nothing except hype for that.
Significant ambition and promise.
I mean,
And
it has
moving a
promise.
gaming medium forward.
It has promise in that Red Dead Redemption 1 was an amazing title and hit every single kind of high point that it could.
I will say
move
that
it forward? I hope so, but I don't know that it deserves most anticipated of the games that are going to be very soon.
Rockstar is good about making games that are pretty decent in terms of Grand Theft Auto, but
That's true.
I think that God, this is tough. I think it's Mass Effect is going to get a lot of hype. Horizon Zero Dawn has a lot of people just excited for it.
It has me
But The
excited
Legend of
for it.
Zelda Breath of the Wild, people have gotten the most hands-on experience within the industry. People have gotten to play a full area at E3. I mean, people got to check it out, and I think that's the one that is probably going to get the most excitement out of that. Like, personally, I think just knowing the industry, that's the one people checked out the most. Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn has a really good strength. Yes, a lot of people love Mass Effect Andromeda, but I think it's going to be Legend of Zelda, I think.
I mean, that's the obvious winner here. I think God of War looks great, but it looks like more of the same kind of God of War experience. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think we've seen almost too much of to know that it's not going to, have a significant impact in the gaming medium moving forward. It's going to be a very good game, I think, but I don't know that it's going to revolutionize things. Whereas I think the high case here is Red Dead Redemption 2, as much as I don't like to say it, and Legend of Zelda. I think those are the two franchises that have the most support behind them. Just because in name alone, they can win out over the other three.
Yeah.
So that is it for the
Being
Game
said,
Awards. So the big, obviously the Game Awards are on December 1st. They'll be streamed on YouTube and Twitch and a couple other places. There's a lot of really cool announcements that always happen with the Game Awards. They have exclusive trailers and announcements. I mean, last year's Psychonauts 2 was announced at the Game Awards, so there'll definitely be some cool things to check out. So definitely watch that if you're into, if you're into video games. It's a good time to watch. Like I said, there was an interview with him with Jeff Knightley on Funhouse, and it was very interesting to hear. Like, it's a private event. It's privately funded. It's not funded by the game companies themselves. It's, advertising wise it is, but, people aren't buying, EA isn't buying into the Game Awards to have a stake in it. They're buying ad space, and that's how they pay for it. So it's cool to see kind of like an impartial Game Awards for the fans. And it's done in a very tasteful and not pandering kind of way. I've become a fan of the Game Awards over time. I was not always a fan of the Game Awards. But
awesome.
Yeah. Anything else?
No,
You want to wrap it up?
I'm tired.
It's pretty late.
Bedtime. It's bedtime for me, guys. I got my pajamas on already.
Jammies.
I'm ready to sleep.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here's the kind of question mark part. Sarah obviously is moving next week. Are you moving next week? Week after, right?
The week after.
The week after next would probably be the next podcast. However, Sarah's going to be pretty much out of commission for the next month. There's a big question as to what we're going to do. We're going to figure it out. There will still be daily glitches. There will still be a podcast of some sort. You'll probably see more of me and less of Sarah for the next month, which, sorry if you're a huge Sarah fan. I know I am.
I'll be on Twitter.
She'll be on Twitter.
Lamenting. I'll be in the chat probably as well if I miss podcasts.
That too. But just know that this month might be a little weird for us, but we will definitely still give you all of the good content that we normally produce.
Thankfully, it's December, so it's nothing crazy's going on.
Right, it's not going to be a crazy month. I mean, there might be times we might not even have news to talk about because it's December.
which is good. Which
Which is
is
good.
good because we might have to take a little bit of a break. So
I mean, we'll definitely be taking a break in December anyways for like the holidays for us to travel and
right,
stuff. So don't
or
worry
me to
too much about
move.
that. And you to move a lot of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, check out the Daily Glitch if you haven't already. Check out the rest of the podcast if you'd like to see our thoughts on pretty much everything else. Subscribe to us on Twitter at GlitchFeed, as well as Sarah at the Elise and myself at tferio. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Twitch because we do this every other week, and we're going to start doing some more live play stuff, a little more scheduled live play stuff very soon. Anything else, Sarah?
Yes. No.
Thank you again.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
We'll catch you guys later.
I'll miss you.
Sorry.